everybody, and welcome back. This is my follow-up review of the iTrackBites app. It will be the second in a series of what will probably be 3 videos on the iTrackBites app. The reason I'm going to do a third one is because I did just pay them about $8 to buy some of the other guides that they offer, as well as online access to their database to see if it's worth shelling out the money. So I did that for you guys so you won't have to, and my next video will be kind of going over those things. Today, I'm just going to talk about my first 3 weeks using iTrackBites. I did not use it consistently when I first started with it, but I have been using only iTrackBites for the better part of the last week to see if I could confidently replace it with Weight Watchers, or replace Weight Watchers with iTrackBites. So the first few times, or the first few weeks that I used it, what I did is I did it simultaneously between Weight Watchers and the iTrackBites app to see where the points calculations were, to see if it calibrated my point allotment correctly when I went down from one level to another. And the results have been actually very surprising for me. So when I first took a look at the iTrackBites app, I was very underwhelmed. It's outdated. It does not look as up-to-date iOS 10-ish, I guess, as some of the other apps out there. However, that being said, this app is the only app out there, I think, for those of us on Weight Watchers that want to track and not subscribe to Weight Watchers. So that in a nutshell is, how I'm feeling about the app 3 weeks in. I do have to say I'm disappointed. I feel like the developers have abandoned this app. It has not been updated at all since August. And that kind of makes me sad because they really have a great thing going. And I wanted to go over some pros and cons today of the app, because as much as I do like it as a replacement for the Weight Watchers app, it's not perfect. And I do have a longer list of cons than I do of pros. So I'll go over those, and feel free to use my experience as a jumping off point for yourself. I did invest only the initial $3.99 purchase price to buy it until today, when I bought the other add-on apps, or add-on guides, I guess. So you can do that too. It's not a very big investment. It's a lot cheaper than a monthly subscription to Weight Watchers Online, which currently is $20 a month. Just to get started with this, I'm going to take you to yesterday's log, just so you can see what a full day of logging points looks like. Now, I go ahead and I have entered everything, and you can see one of my biggest cons with this right now is that it does not break down your foods into meals or snacks, and I hate that. I wish there was a way to turn that on or turn that off. Seems like it would be an easy thing to integrate into this, as every other diet app on the planet offers a way to break down your foods onto the time of day you ate it or the meal you ate it at. That's a big, big con for me. All right, so let's go back to today. So today, you see it so far, I have coffee and I've had milk. And that leads me to another con that I have. If I come into the guide that is included with the free subscription, so I'm going to go over here to favorites and guides, and you go to something like the pocket guide. When you come into an item, you can't change the type of serving. So the Weight Watchers app gives you grams, ounces, cups, whatever, and you can customize that. With the guides that are provided, and I haven't checked this out with the other guides, so I'm not going to speak to that yet, you can't change this. So if you're used to cooking and counting grams, you're going to have to figure it out mentally based down on servings. So you're going to have to do some math when you track stuff. And that is another big con for me because I like to be able to go down to the gram level, the ounce level, whatever, and have the freedom to change that. So I'm hoping that maybe someday they will hear this review and fix that as well. That is something to be aware of. I will tell you that one of the biggest pros to this app is that the scanner works incredibly well. Now, I don't have anything to scan because I'm in my studio, but it scans quickly. It scans way faster than the Weight Watchers app does. And over all the scanning that I have done, I've only found one mistake and one thing that didn't show up in the guide or show up as something. And I was able to add that item. Okay, that was actually this espresso um, that I did yesterday. That's a Starbucks espresso, and it's Kenya flavored. When I scanned it, it did not come up. I entered it into the guide, and it was immediately available for everybody else to find, which I thought was pretty cool. So I've been very, very happy with the scanning. Using it at the grocery store a lot faster than the Weight Watchers app, and I feel like maybe less drain on my battery, which is great. So I wanted to make sure to mention that. One of my other big annoyances, I don't even really want to call it a con, but as an annoyance, if I touch the area right under where it says milk skim to add something new, I wish it would take me right to my favorites, but instead it takes me here to all these different guides. And you can see that there are a ton of ways to add food to your daily log. But it's like knowing where do I go? What am I looking for? Like I wish that there was a way to kind of consolidate this down into just one big guide, pay them $10, walk away, have one big thing to search. Because it does get kind of confusing. And when you start out, if you don't buy the extra guides, you actually get access only to the one that says Search Pocket Guide and the one that says Search USDA Foods. So those are the only two places that you can look for information unless you buy other guides. So I really wish when I touched the line under Milk Skim that it actually brought up this menu, which is the favorites menu. Because the favorites tend to be the stuff that I'm going to use all the time, and I want to be able to just go in and tap, tap, tap and add them. So it's just a little annoyance. I don't really call it a con, but it is just an annoyance. And let's talk about this entry screen here. So I do like this, and I do like kind of the way it's laid out. Gives you all your, or a good number of your macros down below for the item that you're doing. The Bites Smart, of course, are your smart points. And up at the top, you see where it says filling food or fruits or vegetables. You can mark stuff that makes you feel full so you can go back later and look at that. It's not something I've actually been using, but I think that's a really nice feature to add. So that's one of my pros. That's something I don't typically see on other apps. Okay, so let's act like I'm going to add my actual lunch here. So I can come in and I have some options. I can create a new food, which will let me fill in all the information and save it. I can come in and search the pocket guide, which is kind of generic food points. It's not anything name brand. So if you just kind of want the generic guesstimate. Then the USDA foods are name brands for the most part. And those are really your options other than scanning a barcode when you first start out. Then as your list grows, you can actually have your favorite list. And I'll show you when we're adding an item how to add that as a favorite, because you'll want to make sure you take that step every time you create a new food. Then you also have the recently tracked foods. So if you don't, pick something as a favorite, you can always come back, grab it, and mark it as a favorite. Let's go ahead and I'm going to just search the Pocket Guide and pretend that I'm having broccoli for lunch. All right, so I come up, I search broccoli, it brings me up broccoli, and you'll see I can pick how many servings of it that I have, but this one doesn't really tell you what a serving of broccoli is, so you kind of have to know what serving sizes are on some of these things. And that is another one of those things that I think that they could adjust on here. Now I'll just say broccoli is a favorite. I'll hit that. I'll hit track. It added to my log. Come back over here, and now I have 3 servings of broccoli on here, and I can come in and look, and I can tell it that yes, it's a fruit, it's a vegetable, and yes, broccoli is very filling, and save that for me. And now I have the filling foods icon over to the right hand side of the entry, and go back later, and if I'm starving, I can see, oh, I had broccoli, it was 0 points, it filled me up, so let's go ahead and eat some more broccoli. And I will show you the barcode scanner. I'll take this down and actually scan some stuff in the kitchen, and I'll include that right here so you can check out how quick it works and how accurate it is. I'm going to scan 6 items in real time so that you can just see how well the barcode scanner works on a variety of items and how fast it works. So here we go. I'm going to open the app now. I have it completely closed down. So you'll see how quickly it does that, which I love. I'm going to hit the little barcode scanner up here at the top. Hidden Valley Ranch, 0 SPs, add that to favorites. I'm going to start tracking all of that. You can see it gives me teaspoons. So I'm just going to throw these on my tracker for right now. And the green check marks are ones that have been verified, I believe, or ones that are actually in the USDA database. So those are the ones I tend to go to as long as they're there. Okay. Another thing I really like about the app is as you're adding food, as you're in the app, of course, you can see that, I had 3 points. I have 30 points left for the day. But if I'm just on my home screen, the badge icon actually shows me how many points I have left for the day. And I love that. I think that's one of my favorite features of this is just being able to go, yeah, got 30 points left. What am I going to do for food instead of having to open the app and count out how many points I have or look and see it. It just saves me a little bit of time there, which I really appreciate. And I have to say that when counting points, I have only run into, 1 or 2 times where the points have not been accurate. So that has been definite plus for me. I have that other iMacros app that I've been trying out as well. I'm going to wait a few more weeks to do a review of that. But I can say that that is not the case with that app. Another thing I want to talk about is the weights. So if you come in here to the weigh-in screen, you can see that this is where I'm currently at. And it gives me a log of my weight. I went back and put my starting weight in for October. And to do that, when you do a weigh-in, you just actually will want to move the date at the top of the screen that says, where it says Monday, March 27th. You move that back to the date that you want to log for, and then you would hit this weigh-in, enter your weight, and it will put it down for that day. I did that, and then I just entered all of March. You can see where I'm at. And one thing I wanted to point out are these little milestone stickers. I do love that. I wish there were more of them, actually. Okay, so here is the weight graph. What you can see, they put my little stickers on the mat or on the chart where I earn them, which is really kind of fun. I do like that. I do like being able to see it as a graph representation. And, you know, I think this all in all is a very decent way to track your progress. All right. And then let's talk about the calculator. So I like this that they did American, European, and let you calculate your activity. And talk about the activity here in a minute. But you can go ahead and just do your quick calculations if you know the information. For Smart Points, you enter the calories, saturated fat, sugars, and protein. It figures out the value for you, and you can do that for just a quick addition. So say I have something that's 210 calories, it's 5 grams of saturated fat, 3 grams of sugar, and 8 grams of protein. I'm going to hit done. It's going to tell me that's 7 smart points. I can go ahead and hit log it. Then I can add the name, fill in the rest of the information if I want to save it. And now I have it in my create food section. So that's pretty cool. Let's go back to this activity. So you can go ahead and enter in activity information, get your activity points, but you cannot do it automatically. So that is a big con. You cannot pair a Fitbit with this. You cannot pair an Apple Watch with this. You cannot pair any fitness tracker with this and have that information go right in. It's 2017 iTrackBites. Why can you not do this? That is kind of a no-brainer for every developer out there that does a weight loss app. Everybody lets you enter or attach activity trackers, and that's a huge, huge con for me. You need to figure this out because someday I'm going to exercise and I'm going to want that information tracked, and I'm not going to want to have to track it myself. That's all I'm going to say about that. So they have this little community area in here where you can come in and you can kind of interact with people that are also using the app. Problem is, you can't really like find things. So you can add it to your favorites, great, but you can't like subscribe to threads or whatever. I didn't even mean to do this, but you can see that they're talking about not being able to connect with Fitbit, which, come on, it's 2017. What the heck? Anyway, community feature is not one that I use. I've gone in a little bit and I've looked at it, checked it out. Here's where you can compose a message. You have to create a username, upload a photo, or else you have this little gray guy representing you. You'll know me when you see me because it's my same little geeky girl that I have everywhere else. If you want to try to find me, someday I might post in there. But anyway, so that's just a nice little additional feature. However, that pretty much covers the app as it is. And I just wanted to show you some of the settings again because I did talk about these a little bit in my first look video. But I wanted to go over some more now that I have actually used it. Now that I have purchased some of the guides, you see the blue check mark indicates that I have purchased them. The backup and sync add-on I am not purchasing because I can email myself for free a database backup from the app, and I'm just going to choose to do that. I think it's really stupid that in 2017 I'm paying $3 to put it in my own darn iCloud. So I'm avoiding that. I didn't buy the beer guide because I'm gluten-free and I don't drink beer, even gluten-free beers. So that wasn't a necessity. But let's go down here and we'll talk about these profile settings. So you can come into app preferences here and you can choose if you want it to be pounds, kilograms, or stones. So no matter where you live in the world, you can use this app. And you can choose also feet and inches, centimeters, inches for your height. You can customize when you start your new week. I do mine on Fridays because I weigh in on Fridays. I wanted to use my weekly points if I go over my daily allotment. I do not use activity points, so I don't want to use those at this point, which is the next option. I have it turned down or turned off because it's not something I use. The app icon badge is something that I love, so I keep that turned on. And I have not used decimals, but I guess if you wanted to get very, very precise with your points, you could come in and do decimals. And, if something's 1.2 points or whatever, and I might try that because that might actually help me kind of micromanage my points a little bit better. You come in here, you fill out this information so they can help supposedly calculate, all of the information that they need for your BMI and whatever. This is where you would choose the different ways you want to track. Now, if you're just tracking calories, you can do that as well. You can do the points plus or the classic points systems in this app. So that is really nice feature that you can kind of adjust between those different plans if you have a preference. And activity level, you have sedentary, light, all the way to extreme. So if you're like seriously working out all the time or you're a slug like me, fitness goal is to lose weight, not maintain, but it'll be nice that I can switch over to maintenance down the line. I have my goal weight, my starting weight, the starting date from when I started this journey. If you come over here, you can flip over to manual allowance. Then you can customize your daily, weekly activity if you want to change it. I have that off. I have the app customizing it, and it's done very well. Like when I went from 34 to 33 points, it knew it the same exact time that Weight Watchers told me. So I was pleased with that. That has not been my experience elsewhere. Now the backup and sync area, of course, you have to pay for that. So the cloud backup, which I'm not worried about, hit backup and I hit email backup and then I email a copy to myself from myself. So I've got glutenfreeheather@gmail to glutenfreeheather@gmail. Then we have this maintenance area, and this is not maintenance as far as weight maintenance. This is just a place for you to go to kind of edit your favorite foods and go through that stuff. You can edit your favorite activities. As you see, I have none. Now, this is the one thing that kind of annoys me. They went so far as to have health kit connectivity, but I can't figure out exactly what it's doing. It only syncs to Health Kit from here. So I'm assuming maybe just your calories or whatever. It doesn't really break it down. Like all the other apps that I have really break down what information is going from this to Health Kit. They need to expand on this because if they could let me, even just with Health Kit sharing, if they could let me import my steps from Health Kit into here for activity and so forth, they can pull that information straight from my Apple Watch, which would be brilliant because there's no Apple Watch app for iTrackBites either, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, so great start to that. Fizzles out on implementation. Hopefully the developers are just on a year hiatus and then we'll come back and update this app. That wraps up my review of the iTrackBites app. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that this either encouraged you to try this out in place of Weight Watchers or made it so that you don't spend your money and regret it, because that's really what I was looking for before I bought this app, and nothing existed out there that really answered my questions. I will be back in a couple of weeks with just a little quick addendum to this review to go over those guides that I purchased today and let you know if they've added to the experience of using the iTrackBites app. But so far, I like it enough that I put in my cancellation notice to Weight Watchers, and as of May 12th, my Weight Watchers membership will be ended. So, iTrackBites will be taking over where I end with that as long as I keep counting points. I'm always on the lookout for an app that will take Weight Watchers' place and give me all of the things I'm looking for in an app. If I find that, I will be sure to share with you guys that information. And if you have any comments or feedback on my review or the iTrackBites app, please leave them in the comments below. I will be happy to have a conversation with you regarding that. And if you enjoyed the video, as always, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know you watched. And if you feel like subscribing so that you can watch more of my videos, I would love that as well. I'm always looking for people to join my tribe and help support me through this journey, and I'm love to support you right back. I will be back again in a few weeks with an update to this review. Until then, have a great day.